about yourself?
I'm doing amazing. So we're excited to be speaking to you today. So let's just jump right into it. Can you talk to us a little bit about like Diallo and what that's all about?
Okay, Diallo is the
Diallo, got
pronunciation. Yeah, no,
it.
all good. I know you don't hear that name often. It's actually my middle name. I used to grow up, well, growing up, I asked my mom often, like, how did she get that name? And she used to always say, she never really gave me like a real answer, but she would tell me that her best friend kind of helped her with it, with like no backstory to it. So just diving deep into it and doing some research on the name, finding out that it comes from Africa. It means bold, which also aligns with I'm a Leo, so being bold, courageous, leader of the pack. It kind of like made sense. I don't know if she did it on purpose or not, but it just made sense. And I thought it was cool and a unique name, something that you don't hear often to move forward with the clothing line. The idea started 5, 6 years ago, with actual production time or actual getting the ball rolling and actually making, I guess, progress within it about 2.5 years ago. And it started with me and my boy Dex Rob, who is a stylist as well. But we come from about an hour away from each other. Ended up meeting my first year in the NFL, which was 2011, and we've worked together and also just became friends over time and thought it was something. A lot of our visions align with one another and thought it was a cool idea to be able to put our own imprint in the fashion world. We've traveled, been to numerous of uh, fashion shows, domestic and internationally. Been invited to a bunch of different dinners, just trying to learn about fashion as much as possible. Early on, for me, it was from a consumer side, but then you start to see the creative process, and I think you fall in love with it even more. Well, at least I did. I know I could speak for him as well too. But yeah, just thought it was an opportunity for us to dive into the fashion world. Both of us have a passion for fashion. Um, and yeah, that's kind of how it started.
That's amazing. So you've always had that passion for fashion. So kind of like what was your motivation or inspiration with the direction you wanted Diallo to go in? Like why was now the right time to start that?
Yeah, I don't know if you ever can pinpoint when is the right time. Obviously, when starting a business of uh, any aspect, I just think it's you have to have faith. Um, you have to believe in yourself, believe in the team, that you can make things happen. And obviously, it's a learning process to it. I would say um, what inspired it. So my first couple years in the league, I would say fashion was at a different space. Or just the league was at a different space when it comes to fashion. It was a lot of suits, a lot of tailored looks, and I enjoyed that as well too. And a lot of people thought that I made my own suits. I had a lot of teammates come up to me and was like, "Hey man, when can we get your suit line? When can we get this?" And I'm over it thinking like, man, if so many people are looking at what I'm wearing and thinking it's mine, like why not dive into it? And then that thought just leads to another. It's like, so what does a Diallo line look like? Does it looks like suits or is it more casual? Is it streetwear? Do you blend it all together? And I think over I just finished my 12th year in the league. So over the last 12 years, like I said, you've seen fashion and sports just take um, more of a casual turn. I wouldn't even say more of a casual. You've just seen it. You've seen it go through different phases. And I've appreciated each phase that it's been in. And I just think that when it comes to creating a line, sorry, I have clothes in here too, so I'm looking at it as I'm talking about clothes. And I'm looking at some of these pieces, and it's like I have suits over here to the left. I also
Yeah.
have some coats, and it's all type of clothes in here. But I think when you think of Diallo, it's about creating a wardrobe and having something in your closet that lasts a long time, and stuff that you can wear with multiple things. I think we've all bought things that you don't necessarily
Yeah.
love years down the line. You loved it at that moment, or you're stuck with it. It made sense for that particular time, but you can't necessarily build anything around it. You don't have anything to match with it, and I think that's where Diallo is different. We created the line and we started the line and started our first collection, keeping in mind that this is something to build a wardrobe around. It's something that lives in your closet for a long period of time. I mean, as long as you can take care of it, it'll live and it'll always be relevant within fashion.
Yeah, that's amazing. So clearly a lot of staple pieces going on, a staple wardrobe, if you will. So
Mm-hmm.
since you have such a great eye for fashion, talking about all these pieces, what would you consider one piece in your closet that has always been a staple? Like you cannot live without this in your closet.
I don't know if I have one particular, but any type of cargo. Yeah, any type of cargo, utility pen. I just think that that's something that you can always, uh, you could dress up depending on the top that you have, or you could dress it down. It's casual. Um, yeah, and I think you see that amongst all designers, from the Louis Vuittons to the I don't even whatever's on the bottom half. Not to like call it a brand now, but I just think that all of them make a form of a cargo, and I think that for me, that's something that I like to wear. So yeah, I would say any type of cargo.
Yeah. And what would you say is either a person or a thing that has influenced your sense of style the most?
I think that question is layered, or that answer is layered for me. I'm from Virginia, Hampton Roads, Virginia. Uh, Obviously, you see the news that happened in the last week or so with Pharrell. Super proud for him. That's always somebody that I don't dress like him, but I've always appreciated his creativeness, his creativity, uh, his style, um, but also playing sports and growing up playing sports all my life. I look at a guy like Allen Iverson, who may not necessarily be known for fashion, but I think when you look at his imprint in sports, he changed the way athletes approach fashion and how they wear clothes within their profession. You got guys like Deion Sanders, and I'm just speaking athletes because obviously I've done that for a long time, and I can appreciate those guys because they kind of paved the way for a lot of the athletes now. And I just think that they got awarded 2 weeks ago during Super Bowl from GQ. I know AI did Dion. I believe Derek Jeter was the other one. GQ gave him an award. Um, so yeah, I appreciate those guys for real. I mean, I would say he's up there, like one of the top three in a lot of people's books. But yeah, I appreciate all three of those guys. Like I said, they paved the way, and Pharrell is still paving the way. So
Yeah, I totally agree. It's so amazing to hear about the news about Pharrell. Like, I'm so excited to see what he does with that
for
because he has
sure, for sure,
an eye for fashion.
absolutely, absolutely.
And so you have like the football player side, which is like so kind of like tough and rigid, and now you're delving into the fashion side. So that can sometimes be hard to like coexist together, but like you do
Hmm.
a great job of that. So what would be your piece of advice for someone that thinks that they can't do both?
I mean, I'm a firm believer you can do whatever you put your mind to, but I would say in the fashion space, because there's so many people that try to get into it and don't necessarily last, or maybe it's fast fashion, maybe they don't have uh, ambition to be in it long. I would just say learn the ins and outs. Take time not only to go to the shows, meet the creative directors, try to meet with these brands, and just build a relationship. Just learn the in and outs. It's a lot that goes into us walking into a store, the average consumer walking into a store and buying a piece. There's a lot that goes into that piece. More than likely, that piece was made a year before it was even sold. So it's like it's a process. So I would just say learn the ins and outs, just like you would approach your sports life. Like you wouldn't just step on the field on game day and just expect everything to go well. It's a time to study. It's a time to practice, and I think that's you have to carry that into uh, whatever space you want to be successful in.
Yeah, I totally agree. And kind of just like one last fashion question before we kind of pivot a little bit. So, what is one fashion trend that you think that we can leave in 2022?
Um, I don't know. It's tough to call it. I don't judge when it comes to fashion. I believe fashion is about confidence and how you wear it. Doesn't necessarily have a dollar amount on it that makes it fashionable. I think it's all about the confidence that you have in it. And yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of or anymore. I would say like the Balmain style jeans, like the distressed knees open. But that's not to say that it is phased out. I think the fashion industry always cycles. Um, and the creatives always find a way to put pieces together and make it make sense. So I mean, it's hard to say what should stay away. I mean, shoot, we didn't think. Well, when skinny jeans came out, there's no way that you thought that bell bottoms were going to come back out. So it's like everything kind of evolves. But yeah, I'm not a fan of it. But that's not to say that who knows. We're talking about Pharrell. He can make something that looks fire. Next thing you know, that's hot again. So I don't. I kind of stay away from what people should or shouldn't wear. Like I said, I appreciate fashion in all aspects. I know it's the creative side, and by all means, some people can make some things look better than others. So just wear everything with confidence.
Great answer. So I love how passionate you are about your work on and off the field. And I think
Mm-hmm.
your charity work that you do right now is just so inspiring. So can you talk to us a little bit about your foundation?
Mm-hmm. So, uh, my foundation, the Tyrod Foundation, was started in 2018, but it goes back to when I first came into the league. I knew that I at some point wanted a foundation, but didn't necessarily know how much a foundation. Didn't know the details of how a foundation works. So we started off as an LLC, and did football camps, kind of like the annual things that a lot of football players do. And I just knew that I wanted to get back, but didn't know at what capacity. Uh, as you dive deeper into the communities, obviously the football camps and stuff are good, but in the reality, there's a small percentage that make it uh, to college, and it's an even smaller percentage uh, that make it into the professional world on the athletic side. So it's like I've been fortunate to travel and be around a bunch of brilliant minds and see a bunch of dope things through avenues of football and just being able just to travel the world. And I think what's more important is just resources, being able to pour back into your community. I know for me, growing up in Hampton Roads, uh, resources can be limited at sometimes compared to other places. So just try to be creative of what made sense for my community. Obviously, the annual things are good. The turkey drives, back to school drives, to Christmas drives, but um, there's more to it than that. And I think one of the things that I'm very excited about is next month I'll be opening up, or we've the Taylor family renovated the Boys and Girls Club back home. My parents are actually members of that Boys and Clubs growing up. I wasn't a member, but I attended Boys and Girls Club a bunch of times. We played basketball um, on that court a number of times, and to be able to go back to, I literally could walk to this Boys and Girls Club. I grew up 5 minutes away from it, and everybody in the neighborhood. Like that's like a focal point. They were actually thinking about knocking down the building. So for us to be able to come in and I wouldn't say save it. For us to be blessed with the opportunity to change the vision there means a lot to me, and being able to have programming. And I think that's where, like I said, just the resources, the people that I've met along the way throughout my journey, um, wanting to be connected to me, and this is my opportunity to connect them with my community to be able to uplift the next, not the next Tyrod Taylor, but the next whomever, and be able to just pass the torch to them and allow them, inspire them to be able to do the same. And I think that's just how you uplift the community. And I mean, the goal is to be able to obviously make a global impact, but I think you got to start in your own neighborhoods. I've been able to bless other neighborhoods in other communities through the teams that I played: Houston Chargers, Buffalo, New York, Baltimore, Cleveland. To be able to bless those communities meant a lot to me. But what hits the heart is back home, Hampton Roads. So I'm excited about that. Uh, it's been a long time coming. The process took a little while to get this building up, but um, it's everything that I could imagine and more. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And I'm also glad that you talked about the renovation a little bit. So I would love to know kind of like what was a process for that? Like you said it was kind of like a long time coming. So was it a very hands-on one? Like were you like in there like painting walls or like
So my parents were because a lot of the work was done in season.
hmm,
My parents were very hands-on. They were kind of more of an extension of me. Like I said, it's still my parents still live in Hampton Roads, and I get back a number of times throughout the year. But because of being in season, it's tough for me to be as hands-on. But now that the building is up, and they've given me free reign to run any program and to be able to run anything that I want out of the building. Yeah, I'll be as hands on as possible, as much as my free time away from season allows me to. We already have some things. I don't want to speak prematurely, but yeah, we've already started planning out the year, attacking uh, the community, and just trying to get everybody on the same page and progress the community and just grow it globally.
yeah, that's so amazing. So I'm sure there's a lot of children that look up to you. They're seeing the work you're doing in the fashion sphere. They're seeing you as the quarterback. Like you are kind of like exactly what they would want to be in the future. So do you ever feel like any sort of pressure about like not being able to like, I guess not live up to that, but just like the fact that so many people look up to you?
No, I don't feel the pressure. I mean, we're all human. We're not perfect. But obviously, when you have a platform like I have, obviously there are extra eyes on you, and that comes with the responsibility. That comes with it. It's not anything that I shy away from. If anything, I embrace it. God has blessed me with the tremendous talent. He's blessed me with a tremendous support system, um, and whatever I can give back to the community, I'm all for it. I'll give my all back just to see or to help it advance the people um, in underserved communities. I just think that it's a lot can be done in those communities to help a lot of kids, and I mean a lot of parents as well too. And I'm all for it. It's not like I said, it's not a burden or it's not too much pressure. It's just it's part of it, and I embrace it. I look forward to being able to help and to give back. Like I said, nobody's perfect. We all have our ups and downs, and I think it's good to be vulnerable and transparent with the kids as well too. I mean, obviously they look up to us, but at the same time, it's good to have real conversations and to not for them to not feel like you're not real. It's good to be there in person. It's good to interact and to just be yourself. Like I mean, I was once one of those kids looking up to the AIs, the Michael Vicks, the Ronald Currys. I'm just speaking of people from my area, and yeah, I was once one of those kids. And me being able to have those conversations and even be around them kept the dream alive for me. I wasn't a bad kid. I wasn't the best kid either, but just being able to see those guys in person, come back to the community, do the things that they were doing, allowed me, like I said, just to attack my dreams and even more, and just to stay motivated.
That's so amazing. It's so glad to hear how much work that you're doing for your community. I totally admire it. I think it's so amazing. And I really appreciated you talking about your fashion brand with us today as well as your charity work. So was there anything else that you wanted to add just before we like ended the interview today?
Um, no, I mean the Diallo brand. We have a 2 day pop up this weekend in Nordstrom's in New York on 57th Street. Super excited about that. Um, yeah, it's I mean it's I've had reactions to the brand, but this is a true in store um, moment, and you get a chance to see like a true and genuine reaction from people who are coming to see it. So I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, that sounds so amazing. So when can people expect to see like Diallo like in the stores or wherever? Do you have like an estimate?
So as of now, we'll have an online presence starting this weekend, and then after this pop up, we're in conversations. Like I said, I don't want to speak prematurely on some things. We're in conversations with a couple of different stores, but we'll have an online presence for sure this week. Saturday, we'll go live once 1 o'clock. Is the start time for Saturday for us, and we'll go live then.
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait to see all the pieces you have up. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you.